Welcome to People Love Process. In this channel's content, I'm always trying to show you, the audience, the creative process so you can approach design or illustration, maybe it's pattern design, etc., and improve your abilities. But what I want to focus on in this movie is, in my opinion, equally important, and it has to do with setting up assets and doing it precisely. And I value doing it quickly and as easy as possible without compromising preciseness. So, with that said, let me take you through a handful of methods I use all the time and a specific new workflow method I customized because I couldn't find any easy way to do it in Adobe Illustrator. So why are you staring at Apple II computer here? Well, this was the first Mac I ever used. I used it when I was a freshman in high school, and I taught myself how to code, meaning I'd hack into the software and just read through it to understand the syntax and how to pull off what the code back then was Apple Basic. And that's how I taught myself how to code. And so me and a friend of mine, Lincoln, we were always getting in trouble because we would hack into the software that the school was using, and we'd change stuff so when students were doing the little tests, the screen would light up and, and say something. And, well, I don't know why we thought we'd get away with it because we're the only ones in class who could do that. So we were always kind of getting in trouble in that respect. But I always loved doing that. I'd write software to organize all my baseball card collection, etc. But this is what I did it on. The screen was just green, and so it wasn't like you had a user interface like you do now. That wouldn't come until I was in art school and the first iMac came out. But I just wanted to show you that because, yes, I'm a nerd, basically. And I kind of got nerdy in context of what I do every day. And that's going to be part of what I'm going to show you in this movie is that I couldn't find exactly what I needed in Adobe Illustrator. It just wouldn't do what I wanted it to do. And instead of spending time doing it manually, I figured, hey, I'll write a custom script for Adobe Illustrator. I've looked at that script and it's not too hard. It's JavaScript, and I understand a lot about JavaScript, and the areas I don't, I have friends who do it all the time and I can ask them questions. So I just wanted to show you that and show you the first computer I use. We'll go ahead and just delete that layer. We don't need that. We're going to focus on this. Now, this I pulled from a new course I did. It's on icon design. I break down the process into 7 simple movies that I go through different things. I'm going to be sharing some of that content in a couple months, but it's in that context that I came to the part where delivering assets to a client. How do I do it? Well, in this respect, first, let's go up to View, and I'm going to turn on my Artboards because normally I have that off just because it looks cleaner when I record here. But I want that on because it has to do with the Artboards. So I want to demo a script that I developed. And the problem, why did I develop it? Well, I got to this point and I'm going, well, I'd rather have each of these on Artboards so I can export it out into raster things easier. Now, yes, you have asset export and you can drag and drop it in here, but there's also this export to screens feature. But this works best if you have Artboards. So I decided I'd show something, another way of doing it, because I showed just using asset export normally in the course, but I wanted to show the other one. But then that's when I discovered, well, how do I create an artboard for each of these? So if you select these and you go to Object and you go to Artboard, you have Convert to Artboards. Oh, there we go. I have each selected. I'll convert each to their own artboard, and no, you get this. And it says to create artboards, select non-rotated rectangles that are not clipping masks. So they can't be clipping masks, and it's limited to rectangles. None of these are rectangles, so it's not going to create an artboard. So I'm going, Okay, I thought they had AI now. Couldn't they use AI to be smart enough to know that? Okay, that's not going to work. Let's try one of the other options they have down here. Fit to artwork bounds. Okay, well, if I click that, all it does is it fits the artboard to the selection of all the icons. There's 10 icons here. Well, that's no good. So let's Command Z to get back to where we were at. If I select one, I could go Object and I could go Artboards and Fit to Selected Bounds. And well, that's kind of weird. That was unexpected, because if I select this and I go to Artboard, Art Bounds, all it's doing is oh, I see. Even if I have one selected, it's going to apply Fit to Artwork Bounds to everything on the artboard. So we don't want to do that. We want to go to the next one, Artboard Fit to Selected Art. And if I click it, boom, there's my artboard. That's what I wanted. Okay, well, let's just do that to the next one here. Artboard Fit to Selected Art. Well, it just moved this artboard to this one now. And I'm going, really? I mean, isn't there a way to override it? Well, technically, you can go to Artboards here, and you can create your own artboards by going to the option menu, going to artboard options. And I've done that before, but that takes a long time. I have to manually create it. And there's kind of eyeballing to it, because if you want them all nice and evenly spaced, then you have to work all that. It just takes time. And I wanted to do this quickly and easily. And I didn't find any of these methods work very well. So let's go ahead and go back to what we originally had. So I decided I'm going to create a custom script, and it's going to select all the artwork, and it's going to create an artboard individually for each one. So it's in one file with multiple artboards. But then I thought, you know what would be really cool is if I could name an object in Illustrator, and somehow it would take that name I've applied to an object and create layers with each object on its own layer and named. And I'm going, well, how do I do that? How do you name objects in Illustrator? I couldn't figure it out. I tried writing it in my code, but it wasn't doing anything. So I contacted a friend. I asked him that, and he goes, what app are you in? I go, Adobe Illustrator. He goes, oh, go to the attributes palette. So I'm going to open up this here. This is the attributes palette. And I've used this before to overprint colors on projects and stuff to get certain looks. So inks mix, that type of thing. He goes, this is where you do it. Just select the object. So if we select this, now there's other aspects. We're not going to use the overprint feature. We're not going to use the center point or change path directions. This one, change path directions, is handy if you're designing a font, for example. There are certain contexts where it improves the optimization of glyphs. We're not going to use this feature either. All we're going to focus on is this area. This is notes. So with this selected, I can add a note to that, and that's basically naming the vector object. These are all kind of nursery plant oriented. So this one's going to be potted plants, like that. And if I deselect that object, notice it's still in there. And when I reselect it, it'll remember that. And so we can go to the next one, this one, watering can, like that. And again, deselect it, reselect it, it's still there. Well, I did that for all of these. So this one, seeds, wheelbarrow, shovel, garden tools, garden gear, birdhouse, hose, and weather. So you want to be able to, you want to do this first, because my script utilizes those object names to create layers for each of the objects. Now that we've done that, I want to demonstrate to you how to use the script. And it's included in exercise files, and it has instructions for both PC and Mac where you need to install it. You want to have Illustrator closed, install it, then relaunch Illustrator, and it'll show up in your menu by going to File, Script, And this one's called GS Distribute Objects. So we'll click on it. It'll say no objects are selected. Oops, I forgot to select my objects. It has to have objects selected or it doesn't know what you're talking about. Okay, so objects selected. Let's go back to the scripts menu. You can see I got a bunch of scripts here, and GS Distribute Objects. And it does what a computer does best. It computes, and it does it quickly. Look how fast this happened. This message that comes up just reaffirms everything you had it to do. So new document created, objects distributed to layers, centered, artboards created, all artboards fitted to the window, and unused panel items deleted. And so we can click OK. I'll go ahead and switch to my zoom tool, and I'll just zoom out so we can see all the assets. So you can see each one is now on their own artboard. And if you look at the layers, we now have them all on their own layers and their names, so we can isolate them this way. If we go to the Artboards panel, it's named all the layers in the Artboard panel according to those attribute titles we gave each vector object. Now, this created a new document up here. So we're going to go ahead and just close our original document. We don't need it. We don't need to save it. So I'll go don't save. And on this one, I just want to save this. So I'm going to go save as, and we'll select desktop. And we're going to name this one, let's see, OG for organic gardens, icons, underscore, and these are RGB colors, so we'll just call it color, and we'll click save, and that's going to save that file. I always save with PDF preview because I don't have to open anything. I can use quick look on Mac, and so we've saved those files. So what's the benefit of doing this? Well, you have one file with each on their own artboard, but if they're on their own artboard, we can also go here to Asset Export. We can open this up. I can go to the Export for Screens button down here, click on it. That'll open up this. We're going to click on Artboards. We're going to select all because we want to do this to all of them. You can see it has each of our artboards showing up in here. And now we just need to pick what we want it to do. So I'm going to click this to choose where I want it to export to. And I want it to export to the export folder I have on my desktop. So I'll choose that. Next thing I want to do is I want to turn on create subfolders, because we're going to do two formats. We're going to do raster images, and they're going to be PNG and they're going to be JPEG. So I select create subfolders and base those subfolders on the formats we're going to choose down here. We're going to go to, let's see, we'll do PNG 8 first. Most of these are for people developing UI icons for software. I used to do that a lot back in the day, but I used a different program because it was designed by a company and friends I know by name of Icon Factory. But here, I'm going to use it for just simple resolution. We want to do much higher. These are going to be high resolution raster images. I'm going to type in 400 ppi, none, and PNG 8. We'll add another one here. Same resolution, but this format is going to be JPEG. So we'll type in 400 and we'll select JPEG 100. This might do that. Just go ahead and get rid of that. It can be none. And so we have these two formats set up now. Now, there's other formats in here. If I click on Add Scale, and let's go into here, you can see you have SVG, PDF. You even have AI. I don't know why they named it A capital I, because I think this further confuses people with Adobe Illustrator, because Adobe Illustrator is uppercase I, lowercase I, but for some reason they did both uppercase here. So maybe it's just to keep in line with everything. Although WebP, that's not all uppercase. So I find that a little confusing. They're not helping people. Because I have some clients, never agencies, it's all small business clients who well, wait a minute, you sent me AI files. You mean you just created these in AI? And I go, no, that stands for Adobe Illustrator. And yes, that is happening. So we don't want this format. I just wanted to show there's other formats. I'm going to be covering those, but with different artwork. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Down here, the prefix is if you wanted a prefix before the title here, like let's say you wanted it to be icon, you could type in icon underscore, and then that way it would export out each of these with the name you have it that you assigned through the attributes panel, and it would put icon underscore before that. But we're not worrying about that. We're just going to stick with what we have here, and we're going to export these. These are all going to go to the export folder we chose. And so I'll just click Export Artboard. You can see it's all done. So it goes really fast. It works really well. And we're going to be reviewing all of these after we walk through a few different ones. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And this will take us to this example. You saw my take and make art that I showcased in another movie I did a few weeks back. And the reason why I'm showing you this one is because we just did 10 icons. This has a lot more icons. Let's say 32, I think. Yeah, 32 icons here. This is all stock vector artwork. And this isn't so much showing you the export feature in terms of my script. If you wanted to, you could run it on here, but I think all of these in general, as I'm looking at them, each of these are just individual grouped elements. If I select everything here like this, and this might not be a feature you're super familiar with, but if you go to Object, and we want to go to Transform, but we want to go down to this one, Transform Each. Because if I decided I want each of these bigger, you don't want to select each one and size it up however you want, or select each one and go here and go, maybe you think 135 and you preview it. Yeah, that's the right size. Well, then you'd have to do this for each one. You don't want to do that. So just select all of them, go to Object, go to Transform Each. And for years, they didn't have this lock in the proportion, which was annoying. You had to type in both. So you want to make sure you lock that in. Then you tell it how much you want to scale it. And I think 135 was a good one. And you can see everything works based off of its own location or positioning on the artboard. It doesn't do the group as 135, but it does each individual artwork. So that's the easy way to size it like this. Once you've sized something like this, you can run the script, obviously. So let's go File, we'll go Scripts, and we'll go to the Distribute. Oh, again, I forgot, you have to have those objects selected. Go back to the Scripts file and go GS Distribute Objects. And just look at how fast it does it. And it just confirms everything it did. We can switch to the zoom and we can zoom out. And you see all of this artwork isn't exactly proportioned the same. So those artboards are just kind of shrink wrap to that artwork itself. So, and again, if you wanted to save this out now, going to Asset Exports and the Save to Screens, you could do that. And I just wanted to show you this because a lot of people aren't familiar with the fact that you can do Transform Each. And I think it does save a lot of time to do it that way. Now, if we wanted to save this, we could go Save As, and we could name it. And that's the other thing. You don't lose your original file when you use my script. It creates a new file. So I thought that was important because sometimes you forget to save and you run a script, and if it just vanishes your old file, you're kind of up a creek. So I made sure it doesn't touch the other file. It just creates a new file. Like that, we'll select Desktop and we'll click OK. again, PDF preview, like that. So we can go ahead and close this one. We don't need to save it, and we can close this one now that we've saved it. This brings us to this one. Now, my script will work on any type of file. The first one we did was RGB. This is CMYK. There's a lot more icons here. There's 36 here. These are part of my modern culture art. I did 374 over a year based off of themes like Nefertari, or this one I called Takeout. You know, you got all kinds of themes here. This one down to here. And by the way, if I go ahead and turn on attributes and I select here, you can see this one's called Zeke. If you go up here, this is Mr. Dog. This guy's Perk. You know, Trimurti down to here. And of course, because I like Star Trek, Boldly Go. So all of these are named again. That's the key. If you take the time to name all the attributes or all the objects, vector objects, each of these are groups, by the way, it's going to save you a lot of time. So now that we know also the document size, this document size is a little over 20 inches wide by 20 inches tall. It's a square format, but it doesn't matter what document size you're doing. It'll just take what you have and work with it. And that's the other thing that's nice about the script. So we want to go ahead and run the script on this one. So let's make sure we select all the objects, and we go File, we go Script, and we go GS Distribute Objects. This one has a lot more work to process, but it goes really fast as well. So this is what you end up with. I think that looks great. We can go ahead and close the file we created it from, which is this one. And on this one, we'll go ahead and name this file. Let's see. We're going to go Save As. And we'll save as on the desktop. We'll go New Modern Culture Grid, like that, and save like this. And now I want to show you the asset export again. You can see all these artboards are named. We have all the layers over here. I like this guy in the bottom left, Big Carp, you know, instead of Big Corp, and he's wearing a business suit. Yes, I entertain myself when I do this kind of stuff. Okay, asset export. We're going to go back to this now because I want to do a different format. We did raster before. I want to show you a PDF. So let's go ahead and click on the export to screens. You can see all of our artboards is showing here. If you want to view them a little smaller, you can click on the smaller icon preview to see all of them. Again, we have 36 here. We want to do all of them, so I'm going to click on all. And we're going to go down here and pick a location. I want to pick Modern Culture PDF is the folder that they're going to save into. The key here is we don't need to use the create subfolders because we're not creating a PNG and JPEG. We're just doing PDF. So we want it to save directly into the folder. So we'll uncheck that. I'll come down here, get rid of this one. And on this one, we can go here and select, where's PDF? PDF, like that. That's all we need to do. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a prefix. So you can see we have all these names, like the Indian name for elephant is Hathi. So if I wanted a prefix before each of these names, we could go down here and we could go MK underscore, like that. And now that I've added this prefix, if I hover over the PDF here, notice in this area here, it shows up. This is how it will appear for each of those artboard names. So MK underscore whatever the artboard name is .pdf, and that's fine. That's what we want to create that prefix, so it would apply it to those names, and I think this can be good. Now all we have to do is go export artboard. And that's how fast it is. Now we're done with that. We can close this file. And let's jump to this file here. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this one is I'd like to clean up my files, meaning if I'm creating assets, I don't want a lot of extra junk in there. Like maybe unused swatches, that kind of stuff. And sometimes, in my opinion, you don't even need swatches. And this is kind of that case. So when I create patterns, if I select this pattern, let's go ahead and open up Appearance here. But if I select this object, which is basically a 3-filled rectangle, you can see we have the bottom, which is this nice green. We have this fill, which is a pattern swatch. If we turn that off, you can see we have a white pattern of the same going the opposite direction underneath that. But when you layer stuff like this with the appearance panel, it's how you can get really immersive kind of patterns, which is kind of fun. And if we go up here, this is the one color we use, this is another color, but this is a pattern swatch. So if I double click into that, we're in the pattern mode. So we have both a color one, which this one's aqua, and we have the one right next to it, which is white. So I don't always want to keep all those swatches in a file like this, especially if I'm sending it to a client. I want it to be easy to understand and easy to use. So what I want to do in this case is create a graphic style. Once you have a pattern created like this, even though it's multi-layered in the appearance, we can just take this and you can either drag and drop it into the styles, and that's what I'm going to do, or you can just go here. Let's go ahead and increase this a bit so we can see more of these pattern or graphic styles here, or you can select it and just hit plus, and I'm going to just put it in the right orientation, which is there since it's the first one. And that's how you can create a graphic style. Now, why did I do that? Well, because actually, before I forget, let's click on this and name it. The name of this pattern is Meandering Spring, like that. But that's what I did for all of my patterns. So right now, as it stands, this file is 18 point, well, actually, it's a little more than 18.5 with this artwork in it. Now that we've saved a graphic style, I can just select this pattern layer and just delete it. We don't need it. And you're going, well, wait a minute, you're going to lose your graphic style. Well, no, you don't. The graphic style retains, it's like its own asset library. So if I turn this on, you can see all these other graphic styles. And if I select this and I apply this graphic style to that, now all of these are based off of graphic styles. And to help kind of clean up a file, and more importantly, in my opinion, is to reduce the size of the file. For a graphic designer, a file like this with just this content you see with all these swatches in it is 18.5 megabytes. But if I decide to select all these swatches like this and just go delete, click yes. Now all of those are gone. The file now has dropped to only 13 megabytes. It still has all these colors being used in it, but all of those are embedded in the graphic style. And so this is how I can create a new asset library, clean it up, lower the size of the file, and give it to a client in this case. So let's go ahead and save this. We want to save this as a new file. So I'll go save as, and I'll go new, and then we'll name it pattern library. And we want this to go to the desktop. And click save and click OK. So let's go ahead and close this now. I love graphic styles. It makes work, especially with patterns, because once you have a graphic style, by the way, I'll just show you this. Let's go ahead and just select all these and just delete them. And I'll create a new shape like this, and I can just fill it with whatever pattern I want, because that's how graphic styles work. They're just really simple to apply into a context. Okay, let's close this. We don't need to save it. And let's go to this last example here. And the reason why I saved this for last is because, well, you'll see. It's I ran into this because I'm putting together 2 sessions for an online Illustrator Summit. I've been asked to do 2 sessions in. And I kept doing this, and I'm going, why is it doing that? And I couldn't figure it out. And I contacted a few people I know on the beta team. And I go, what am I doing wrong? Oh, you're not doing anything wrong. That's a bug. And I go, wow, okay, that's kind of silly. So you saw me do the raster exports out of the assets exports, the one where I used the save to screens feature, and it took all the artboards and saved out the assets. So I've done it in raster. I did it in PDF. And now I'm going to do it in AI, Adobe Illustrator format, which is nice. They finally added that. They didn't have that for years. Even in Illustrator version 25, I'm 24. I'm on 25 in my booth here. It has it, but version 24 didn't. So it's nice that they finally got around to adding that. You think that'd be the first one they do when they put it in Illustrator, but it wasn't. So again, we have all of these. If we go to the attributes and go ahead and select on these, I have all these named, and in order, in the hierarchical order, they're all laid out properly in Illustrator. But the thing I want to show you now is, let's go to layers and go to the scary sublayers, which I never have turned on when I work, but I'm always aware of where the positioning is on objects in my file. So in my file, if I go ahead and let's start in the bottom right, if I select this and I go to the left, what should be the next one? Well, the next one should be this one right here. That's what this one is. But if I click on it, well, actually, it's down here. So that's telling me that these objects aren't in order. So that one's here. If I go to this one, well, that's in order with that. But if I go to this one, well, wait, that's skipping order. If I go here, it goes back. Maybe I go here, all of a sudden that's way back here. So these aren't in hierarchical order. And if you don't set up your file before running a script, and by the way, all the examples I've shown you, I made sure they're in the order I wanted it to appear, both in the Artboards panel and the layering panel. So to do that, it's pretty simple. And this is only 9. So if you have 36, like we did with Modern Culture, it'll take you a little bit, but it's not hard. And if you have keyboard shortcuts set up, it's super easy. So if I go ahead and just select this and we go to Object, we go to Arrange, we want to bring this to front. That'll make it the topmost object in this file. And you can see I have a keyboard shortcut of F5. So I don't even go to this menu, but we'll click it. So that brings this to the front. And I can select this, F5, 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 select this. Notice it's down here. As soon as I hit F5, it jumps to the top. That's all I'm doing. Select this, jumps to the top, jumps to the top. So all of these now, whether you're starting here and you select it, they all go in order now, in hierarchical order, that is. So they're going to export better when we run our script. And once again, if you don't want to lose this before you run the script, you'd want to save your file. I'm not going to worry about that. We'll just go ahead and run the script. So I'll select all of these, go to File, go to Scripts, and we'll go Distribute Objects. And it'll set everything up like that, confirm what it did, and boom, we have all of these here. Now, if you look at your layers, they're all in the hierarchical order group, because some of these are named bad 1, bad 2. I had fun with this spot texture set, and I'll be doing a movie on that eventually, but I'm waiting until the texture set comes out by Retro Supply Company, and then I'll figure out well, bottom line, I haven't figured out the artwork yet. I thought I did, but the more I'm looking at it, I'm going, yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm still working that out. That's the way I am. I'm kind of picky about that stuff. Both in the artboards, it's all organized nicely. So all we have to do is go to Asset Exports, and we're going to go down to Save by Screens, Export for Screens. Like this, we'll select Artboard, we'll select all because we want to do all of these. And we'll pick a new location. So I'm going to select this, go to Vector Spot Textures, click OK. So we have that. We don't need it to use any kind of subfolder. So we're not going to do that. We'll go down here and we're going to select AI. It's not artificial intelligence. Now, the next thing we want to do before we run the script is we want to go to this gear icon and click on it and select AI in this menu. Now, by default, create PDF compatible file. That means if you want to be able to see what's in a file, like if you're on a Mac, I have a quick view, which I can select any file, AI file, PDF file. I can tap my space bar and it'll bring up a preview and show you what's in that file so you don't have to open it. I love that feature. I use it all the time. So I'm always saving with PDF preview turned on for my AI files. That's the equivalent of what this is. So I suggest you make sure you click that and then you click Save Settings. Now that that's done, we don't need to add MK into this one. Let's get rid of that. No need for any prefix. We'll just go with the name we have here, and we're going to go ahead and export into the folder we specified with Export Artboard. By the way, the amount of anchor points in this file, because you might have been thinking, why is it taken that long? Well, because if you go here, oh, I don't have my vector scribe window turned on. Let's go with this, and let's go to vector. This artwork has 99,000 anchor points, so that's why it took a little long. It's processing a lot. So now that we have all those exported out as AI files, we're going to go ahead and if you wanted to save this file, you could. I'm not going to bother saving it. We'll just close this one, don't save, and I'll close this one. Don't save, and we're going to go ahead and go to the artboard, and we're going to review a few things. So you can see this is the set of artwork I created for Take a Make Art. It'll only show you one artboard at a time, but this had all those artboards. Same with Modern Culture. It looks like it's just Tuscan Raider, but that's just the preview of one of the artboards. Here's the new pattern library we set up with just graphic styles in it. And here's this Organic Gardens color one. So what we want to do is I want to go ahead and open up this export folder. Here's the two formats we exported, which is JPEG and PNG. And we're going to open up this Organic Gardens icons because these are all the assets we created. So we have high res, we have vector, whether it's black and white, CMYK, RGB. So on the RGB one, I'm going to drag this color one, that's what this one's for, and put it in there. So now they have color, they have black and white, and they have reversed. We're going to put the raster, high resolution raster images. So I'll open up the JPEG here. And I'll select all of those, and then these will go into the color folder under JPEG. Again, they get black and white as well. And then for the PNG, we'll open up the folder for all the PNG images. PNG has transparent backgrounds, and we'll drop those in there. Again, they also get transparent backgrounds, black and white. and reverse ones, which are just colored white to use on a dark photographic background, etc. And these were all the deliverables for a company called Organic Gardens. It was part of my icon course. You're going to see more about that in a few months. So let's go ahead and close this. Now that we're done with that, we can close this. And the last one is, or actually we have two more to cover. Modern culture. Here's all the modern culture artwork you can see with the prefix of MK for modern culture _ whatever the name of that artwork is. And these are all, of course, PDF files, so you can do a quick view on a Mac and just go through all of them like this. So that's why I love doing quick view, but it worked great. And when I decided to go ahead and export out the vector files, the AI files, for all this artwork, I was going, this is great, but I'm going, what did I do wrong? Because notice it has like double naming. I'm not sure what this, I'm not sure why this has a question mark and why this one has, that's kind of odd. When I tested this, I didn't see that. But notice how this has abrasive1 _ abrasive1. Well, I didn't set up a prefix to do this, so I'm not sure why it's doubling it. Basically, what this one should have been is just that. And this one, if I go in here, and we're not talking a lot of work here, it's just 9 icons like that. And on this one, you know, it should have been just this. I don't know why it put this little dash in there. That's kind of weird. Like that. And then if I go in here on this one, like that. So I would have to go in and edit all of these. So why am I showing you this? Well, it's because I must have tried for like almost an hour to figure out, why is it doing this? What did I do wrong? I'm not doing anything different than all the other formats. The PDF came out great. And I emailed a friend of mine who's on the beta team. He's based in Russia. It's amazing how much work this guy does. And Adobe doesn't pay him anything. Adobe doesn't bring him to Max or anything, which I think is just idiotic, because the guy helps. Whatever works well in Illustrator, it's because Igor has been on the case and made sure they get it fixed. And I just think it's really bad that they don't do things to not compensate him, but come on, he does stuff all the time. You guys should at least comp him a max pass, you know, whatever. Okay, enough about that. But I asked Igor, hey, what am I doing wrong here? And he goes, oh, yeah, well, you're not doing anything wrong. That's a bug. I go, really? How did they add this feature and not test it and find this? And he goes, yeah, good question, huh? And I'm just like, wow, that's pretty bad. But preview again, all these, you know, you can preview them. Now, when it comes to vector textures, the more you zoom in, the less authentic they look. That's why I like bitmap so much. But I just wanted to show you this. I wanted to walk you through all these different methods. You can apply them to your own workflow. So since we focused on, let's just have some nice artwork up like this. And I love how it shows you all the other artboards on the right in quick view on Mac. So since we focused on workflow methods and not distinctly creating art, I've included the take a make art and the spot textures shown in the movie, and you're free if you access the exercise files, which you can find a link for in the description below this movie, then you're free to use these in your own work however you'd like. Now, when it comes to modern culture that you see here, that would be the exception. And this artwork is for licensing purposes only. And you can try the same methods I showcased by using the file and the exercise file and running the script and see how it's done. That's fine. But I just ask that you please don't use them in any other way, just for self-training your own workflow. This is why I put copyright warnings in my files. It's an honor system for people of process, and I hope you do honor it. Of course, I'm giving you the script, and you can use that whenever you want, and I've included installation instructions as well, both for Mac and PC, so you know exactly where to place it. And you want to do that when you quit out of Illustrator, then place it, then relaunch Illustrator. Otherwise, it won't show up in the proper menus, so make sure you do that. I actually had a lot of fun coding the script and struggling with it for about 2 days before it worked. And then I'm going, no way, it worked. Did that work? And then I had to do it again to prove to myself, holy cow, it does work. I go, cool. So it was kind of fun. I kind of forgot about that because I remember having those same experiences in high school, and I can see why people would get into coding. It is kind of fun when things work out, and kind of debugging and figuring out why it doesn't work. And, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed this content, and in the coming months, again, I'll be sharing content I created for my new courses, Icon Design, Breaking Down the Process, that's the title, and I'm kind of focusing on all my big courses and creating these micro courses as well. And the other one was Pattern Design, Breaking Down the Process. Now, each of these courses are only like 7 movies. They're very short courses, but they're extremely focused. My pattern one, that was an absolute blast to put together. And in my opinion, it's one of my best courses ever. So if you get a chance, make sure to watch it. And I bring that up because if you follow me on LinkedIn, I share free access to all of my courses each month. So each month, I'm posting access to a different course, but you don't have to have LinkedIn Learning to get to watch it. You can use the link I provided and you can watch it. So if you're following me there, you can see not only everything on People of Process, you can watch all of my courses eventually. Now, I have quite a few courses, so it's going to take a cycle of about 2 years or so to get through all of them, but at least you can access them and watch them in your own leisurely timeline. Thank you for supporting this channel. And if each of you watching this would just share a link to People of Process with a friend, it'd help me grow this channel a lot, and I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, thank you for watching People of Process. And as always, I know I say it every time at the end of my movies, but I really do mean it. I hope this type of creative content helps you to improve your own creative process.